We are in the Principles course, and we are on Chapter 6 of Landlord Tenant Relationships, and we are on page 171. I am working, in case you don't know, out of the Principles book, and it is the 15th edition with Walt Huber. Right there, see? Okay, so I'm going to get some more information out to you about this. We're trying to get through this chapter 6 so that you know as much as you can about landlord-tenant relationship. Remember that every so often I drop gold nuggets, and the last video had so many gold nuggets about what you need to do if you're thinking about being a landlord, if you have somebody that wants to be an investor and own property, especially if you're in the state of California. So we were on the part where it talks about landlords can enter the property when the tenant is present. So it says also, with no written notice of entry is required if the landlord believes that the tenant has abandoned the property. So that's where I got cut off last time. And it says, if it's an emergency, if the tenant is present and verbally consents at the time of the entry, or if the landlord and the tenant agree verbally or in writing that the landlord will enter the premises. So anytime you show up unsuspectedly and you're always supposed to give 24 hours. If you don't give 24 hours, but your tenant's there and agrees to it, they can let you into the property, but always put it in writing. Termination due to repairs for habitability. So a landlord of a rented home, whether the home is a house, a condominium, or an apartment, has an implied responsibility. And that responsibility is to keep the premises maintained in a condition that meets at least the bare living requirements. Hazardous conditions cannot exist that threaten the tenant's health or safety. If the landlord does not live up to the implied warranties of habitability, the tenant is not obligated to pay the rent. However, the tenant must give notice of any repairs. So I talked about repairs in the last video, a reasonable amount of time, a determination that the type of repair is needed, and if the landlord, after a reasonable amount of time, has failed to make the necessary repairs, the tenant has two methods to recourse. So I told you what I thought mine were. Let's see what the book says. It says spend up to a maximum of 1 month's rent in repair. So that's what I said. Make the repairs yourself and take it out of the rent. It says it says it threw me off a little bit. It says spend up to a maximum of 1 month's rent in repairs, up to twice in a 12-month, that's what threw me off, because when I said twice, you just said 1 month, twice in a consecutive month period. And it says a tenant cannot